So before we start, this really isn't going to be the normal style of Wimbledon Career Mode. Now I've got some explaining to do. I recorded episode number 9 normally with live commentary and all went well. Got it back to editing and unfortunately the audio quality was absolutely horrendous on my microphone. I know what happened, it's fixed and it won't happen again. But it meant that I was either going to have to ditch the footage or do something slightly different. So I've gone for something slightly different. And what we're going to do is we're going to post-com very brief highlights of the first 4 games that we had. And then I'm going to tag on 3 extra live-com games at the end. So you're actually getting more than you bargained for. You're actually going to be getting 7 games in today's episode. It's just 4 of them will be post-commed in a style of a highlights video instead of being live commentary like the usual that you get in this series. Deal? Deal. Now, last episode saw the addition of a new part of this series known as Player of the Episode, where whoever was the best player in that video would play then every single game of the next episode. The inaugural winner was this man here, George Long, in the background. He's 69 rated goalkeeper, and hence, obviously, he will win the prize. And this sparked a debate in terms of backup goalkeepers, because George Long plays all the time anyway. Joe McDonnell here is out on loan at Doncaster, so we can't play him, and Nikola Tsanev is a bit too low in terms of overall. So it really made me realise that I think one thing we'll be doing in January is probably bringing in a backup goalkeeper in order to have someone there behind George Long when he can't play. Now, the first game I'll be showing you highlights for was against Walsall, an FA Cup tie which saw us play a very second-string side due to fatigue issues, the likes of Egli Kajia, Anthony Hartigan, Dean Parrott, and also Joe Pigott coming into the side for this one. Now, obviously, we came off the back of a draw with these guys, 0-0, in the last episode, so I was hoping for a bit more action. Simeon Jackson heading wide in 8 minutes of the game. Egli Kajia was then set through on goal by Joel Azoro. The shot was actually blocked, but then thankfully for us, in an incredible turn of luck, the following clearance was blocked by Joe Pigott, making his first start of the entire series, and the tenacious work from the ex-Gillingham striker meant that he was able to then put the ball into an empty net after blocking that clearance from the Walsall defender. A very lucky goal, a very odd goal, but a goal nonetheless, and a goal we tried to build upon going forward in the first half, with Joel Azoro with a great strike, but just over the bar. Walsall did at least try to attack, certainly in the first half at least anyway. One shot P-rolling past the post after the dispossession, of Dean Parrott. Right at the end of the half, though, we had an incredible chance to double our lead as Harry Forrester picked out Joel Azoro at the far post, but an astonishing one-handed save from Gillespie kept Walsall just 1 goal behind. And that'll be a continuing theme into the second half, as Joel Azoro turned provider to try and find Harry Forrester. Once again, Gillespie with an astonishing one-handed save to keep his side in the game. At this point, it could potentially have been 3-0, and we would have been easily into the next round of the FA Cup. But you've got to be clinical in these situations. Oztumer with a strike forcing a good save out of George Long, but George Long would not be able to prevent the strike, the second strike even, from the Turkish midfielder. And the little magician who proved so hard to play in the previous game last episode with a great finish volleying into the top corner to punish us for our wastefulness in front of goal. We almost lost the game right at the end as one of Walsall's centre-backs going forward just dragged his shot wide of the post. Had that gone in, we would have been out of the FA Cup, but instead we drew and forced the game to a replay away from home. Although it was making the best out of a bad scenario, it does now mean that our fixture congestion is going to be even more amplified, and of course we did have the opportunity to win the game and should have been out of sight before Walsall got that equaliser. Moving into the second game though of this episode, and you can see we're away from home back in league action now against Bury, the team right behind us in the league at the time, 3rd place behind us, who are still in 2nd place. Leonardo da Silva Lopez had the first chance of the game, but an astonishing save from Conor Ripley prevented the Portuguese winger from finding the top corner. Into the 35th minute though, and an interception from Liam Trotter started up a counter-attack, where Joel Azoro found Lyle Taylor, and the monster at Messi was able to get yet another assist in the series, turning provider to find Liam Trotter, who had started the attack in the first place, as we look to gain 3 points in an extremely vital match against our nearest rivals in the table. A win here would have meant that we would have extended a 6-point lead over the side we were facing, but unfortunately we weren't able to keep the lead for too long, as Jay O'Shea cut inside right at the start of the second half, past Adedeji Larger, and found the back of the net with a pinpoint accurate strike past George Long in between the Wimbledon sticks. Having scored so early in the second half, Bury were now in the ascendancy and had all the momentum in the game, and they used that to good effect, starting to attack even further going into the final half an hour. A shot coming in from Dawson looked to have been saved comfortably by George Long, but unfortunately a late challenge from Nzuzi Toko was penalised by the referee, and hence Bury gained a penalty. Jay O'Shea, looking for his brace, stepped up and sent George Long the wrong way with a great penalty into the top right corner to complete a turnaround for Bury against us after we took the lead so early in the game. Going forward, once again, we tried to get an equaliser, but unfortunately for us, at least at first, Bury's goalkeeper was in incredible form. Connor Ripley first denying Andre Dozel before a flurry of shots in the following 10 minutes. And Zuzi Toko managed to find Liam Trotter, but once again, Connor Ripley was up to the task with a save that parried the ball out for a corner. 6 minutes later, though, Joel Azoro found Lyle Taylor and then into an onrushing Kwesi Appiah, but unfortunately Connor Ripley was there once again. Azoro, though, found Lyle Taylor. Taylor converted, but Azoro had been offside, and hence the goal was disallowed. With just 1 minute of the game to go, though, Joel Azoro was found by Kwesi Appiah, but once again, the Bury goalkeeper was up to the task, and after 4 saves in just 12 minutes of the game, Kwesi Appiah came forward to find Lyle Taylor for the final chance, but yet again, we were denied by the Bury goalkeeper, and even despite the late pressure in the final 15 minutes, Bury held on to cut our lead to only goal difference after we had the chance to go 6 points clear of them in second place in the league. Now, the third game was yet another tie against Walsall, our third in just 2 episodes, as we faced the replay in the FA Cup. Harry Forrester forced the first goal of the game by getting his shot saved. It then fell to Joel Azoro, and the Swede was never going to miss with an open net in front of him. And after just 15 minutes, we were back in front in the tie. The replay obviously going in the same direction as the first game had gone, where we took the lead and then had to attempt to hold on in the football match. 7 minutes later, and Andre Dozel was bursting through on goal to find Joel Azoro looking for his second, but unfortunately, once again, heroics in terms of goalkeeping from Walsall's goalkeeper Gillespie kept them in the match. Towards the end of the half, though, and Dean Parrott managed to find Leonardo da Silva Lopez, who cut inside and unleashed a strike into the far corner to double our lead, a goal that would prove crucial in the game overall, as we looked to learn from the mistakes that we'd made in the first game by not finishing our dinner, by not being clinical. At least this time, we now had a 2-goal buffer thanks to our 2 summer signings. Unsurprisingly, the second half now saw a much more attacking display from Walsall, yet another shot from Oztumer, this time saved by George Long. But the outcome wouldn't be the same just 10 minutes later. Oztumer set away and finding the far corner excellently, no chance for George Long despite oncoming pressure from Darius Charles to cut the deficit to 1 goal for Walsall. This would obviously set up an extremely nervy final 25 minutes of the game, especially after what happened against Bury in the previous game. However, the comeback would not be repeated, and we did hold on to progress to the next round of the FA Cup after a 2-1 victory at the third time of asking against Walsall. And the final game of the episode would end up being a simmed one against Wigan Athletic, at home at least, at Plough Lane for this one. Wigan obviously a very, very decent side, one of the best teams in League One on paper, so even a point in this one against the side currently in the playoff places in the league would have been a good result. The first 70 minutes saw absolutely nothing bar a couple of cautions for Will Grigg and Darius Charles respectively, and it would end up being a goalless draw. 1 point at least gained, but still ground lost on our promotion rivals, though having said that, again, Wigan a very good side, still a decent result and certainly better than our 4th loss of the season. You can see, however, it did mean that Bury, the team that we lost to in the second game of the episode, managed to leapfrog us into that automatic promotion slot, pushing us down into the playoff places, down into 3rd, just above our sworn enemies MK Dons. We now found ourselves in 3rd. That's it though for the post-com. Now let's jump back into the live scenes for the rest of it. Yes, this episode hasn't really gone to plan. As I explained in the intro, unfortunately I did record 3 games and simmed 1, got back to editing it, and the audio was just, it was all messed up. I know what happened. Sometimes my microphone changes volume in the levels when I'm recording, and it was just way too high when I started the recording, so it just sounded awful, like you wouldn't have wanted to listen to it. So as you'll have seen, I decided to make more of a highlights reel of what would have been episode 9, and we're extending it basically with a couple of live games at the end. So as you'll have seen, it's been a bit of an up and down one this episode so far, so hopefully we can move into some better form. Once again, some decent news in the background in terms of training. Morgan Shaw's been growing really well with these training routines recently. He's now up to 52. That's +3 in today's episode alone, I think. Okay, so as you can see, we've got a risk of losing 3 players at the moment from the starting 11 because these guys are above the age of 23 and have 6 months or less remaining on their contracts. Tom Saws, who we're wanting to sell anyway. That's why I wanted to sell him in the summer, because now he's just going to go for free and we're not going to get anything from him. Lyle Taylor, one of the main men, I'm going to make sure that he obviously doesn't leave. And Dean Parrott, again, another Wimbledon fan favourite, will also not be leaving leaving the club whatsoever. I just need to wait to get the funds from our John Mead sale. It's the first game of this live section of the video, I suppose you can call it. It's going to be another sim game against Bradford City. We're off the back of a draw in a sim game against Wigan Athletic. We'll be playing the other two games in this episode against Portsmouth and Gillingham after this one is done. Got a very strong side out for this one for the very reason that we are simming it really, and we want to try and get a win here. Obviously we're now third in the league. Bury have overtaken us. They are actually losing right now. A very eventful end to the half as Darius Charles gets sent off, and then 1 minute later Leonardo da Silva Lopez gives us the lead. Can we hold on in the final 10 minutes with 10 men? No, we cannot, as I think Dominic Polian scores off the bench for Bradford. Looking at the results elsewhere, can't really see what Bury did. Time now then for, I don't know, what is this going to be? The 6th game of today's episode, but the first live one, I guess, as you guys are seeing it. We are going to be away from home at Fratton Park against Portsmouth. Very difficult game. Portsmouth currently sat in the playoff position, so it's been a very up and down episode for the team so far. I can't say there's been any games where anybody's played particularly badly. It's just that the results haven't necessarily gone our way, but we will be looking for a good result here. We want to try and take that automatic spot back off Bury. Dozel, that's out wide now here to Forrester. Can put the ball in towards the back post for Nzuzi Toko. Well saved by the goalkeeper, and Toko wasn't even offside. I'm not going to lie to you, I thought he was offside. We're coming forward though again here with Dozel. That's played through here for Lyle Taylor. Saved again by the goalkeeper. And once again, we're not necessarily taking our chances. Two very good opportunities there in the space of just a couple of minutes. Here's Lyle Taylor, Azoro, poor pass, but it's fallen back to him again. And it's a simple catch for McGee. 3 shots on target in the first 16 minutes. Lyle Taylor with a clever ball there into Joel Azoro, who cuts back. Back in now to Lyle Taylor, saved again. Lyle Taylor on the rebound, blocked. Oh, come on. Ball in there from O'Keefe. Oshalaja, though, deals with it very nicely. We can come away here on a little bit of a counter-attack. Dozel, Lyle Taylor, Toko. Azoro back into Nzuzi Toko again. It's Nzuzi Toko! Oh my god, he's hit the post. I don't believe it. How has he hit the post from there? Oh, Nzuzi. Oh, this is why we should have trained his shooting before. I'm an idiot. Why did I think 49 shooting would be enough? Half-time swings around and I've got literally no idea how we're not winning this game. Again, so unclinical in front of goal. Two actually big chances for Toko. Towards is that Thompson. Now into Rose. Through there towards Hawkins, but a simple save for George Long. Out wide here to Harry Forrester. Got some support in the centre as Forrester, but the cross is poor. Harry Forrester has been a massive disappointment in this episode so far. Like, really, really poor. Lyle Taylor with a nice ball over the top there to Harry Forrester. Right, take it in your stride. He has. It's Harry Forrester bursting into Da Silva Lopez. And we've got the breakthrough with just 14 minutes of the game to go. It's a completely trampy goal. It is completely sweaty. Completely dirty. It needs a bath, but we have taken the lead. Finally, and I said Harry Forrester's been a massive disappointment today. He has been, but credit to him there. When he needed to take the ball in his stride, he did burst into the area and did find his man. Massive relief, because we do deserve to be winning this game, though Portsmouth have been a lot better in the second half. But here's Nzuzi Toko. That's through towards Harry Forrester, who is onside. Wasn't necessarily expecting him to be. Here, though, is Harry Forrester cutting in just over the bar. A little bit high and a little bit wide there from Harry Forrester. Fair play to him in the second half. He has actually turned up. Here is Frankham, Parrott, Trotter, Forrester now. Saved by McGee. Surely that'll fall to Apaya. Kwesi Apaya blasts it over. Empty net. Doesn't matter. I don't care really. Although it would have been nice to get Apaya's goal there. The game finishes. We win 1-0. The only reason I laughed really was because it's Kwesi Apaya. The poor kid hasn't been able to hit a barn door with a banjo since episode 4. And, well, he proved it again there with an empty net. Regardless of that, though, the goal from Da Silva Lopez wins it for us. Man of the match was Harry Forrester. After the first half, I would definitely not have agreed, but he did pick it up in that second half and, of course, did get that assist as well. Nzuzi Toko, though, Joel Azoro, Andre Dozel, and Leonardo Da Silva Lopez getting really good ratings as well. And a quick shout-out as well to Fikeo Tomori, who was very solid at the back and saved us on quite a few occasions, so he's really starting to come into his element now. More training once again. Oshalaja, yet again, is getting another slot of training. training. I think towards the end of the season we might stop training him just for a little bit. And Zuzi Toko is now being trained on his finishing finally. Got so many comments about that. I am going to switch it over now from passing to shooting. And then our two youngsters in the Youth Academy, Visser and Shaw, are being trained. Let me know down in the comment section who you think I should be training next. Because we've got plenty of younger players in the side, plenty of players that I do want to train, but I want to know who you guys want to see improve across this series as well. And whilst you're at that, if you guys have any suggestions for players to sign in the next episode, because we'll be in January in the next episode and making some signings, so if there's any players you want me to buy, preferably, either freeze, pre-contract agreements, or just very cheap players, let me know again down in the comment section, because I want to really bring in, 3 odd players, really. I feel like we probably can. So the final game of 2017 is here in this game, and we're away from home against Gillingham in the final game of today's episode. Now, this one comes 3 days after our last game there against Portsmouth, and only 2 days before our first game of 2018 against Southend, I think. So, yeah, stamina's going to be a big issue in this game, and very much so in the first game and next episode. So a few changes have been made. Joe Pigott, who you'll have seen from the highlights earlier on in this episode, scored in his first start in the whole series so far. He is starting again alongside Lyle Taylor, coming in for Azoro. Kwesi Appiah is in for Leonardo da Silva Lopez, and Anthony Hartigan is in for a slightly tired Dean Parrott. Apparently, Cody McDonald, Joe Pigott, and Adedeji Oshilaja used to play for Gillingham. Lee Martin back into Eves again, but a lovely little challenge there from Fikeo Tamori, who's now bursting forward like it's nobody's business. Lyle Taylor's making a great run here, and Lyle Taylor's in acres of space. It's Lyle Taylor. He hits the post, but he finds the back of the net, and after just 3.5 minutes, we are up by 1-0 in this game. Fikeo Tamori. I said, I think at the end of the last game, that he was starting to find his feet in this side. He wins the ball, bursts through midfield, and then finds the ball into Lyle Taylor. The goalkeeper, for some reason, doesn't move. Don't know why. Regardless of that, though, we are 1-0 up very early on in this game. Challenge there comes in, and we've got some space again. It's Andre Dozzell just allowed to run through, and it's 2-0 after 10 minutes. Gillingham have put up no defensive fight in this game whatsoever. What is going on? We've had an episode of incredible defending and goalkeeping, and then we've arrived at the end of it and we're not even up against anything, seemingly. Gillingham falling apart. Andre Dozzell now with a goal, his second of the league campaign. Here is Kwesi Appiah going to try. He tried to play it down the line, but it was a shocking effort, and then gives away a foul. Can we sell Kwesi Appiah? Because I know he's scored a couple of goals. Maybe I should give him more of a chance. But he is the most frustrating player in this team. Through here to Dozzell. Lyle Taylor's got a little bit of space. Lyle Taylor with the shot outside of the area. Nelson with the save. Cleared. What? How's your touch, Anthony Hartigan? Ball into the box. Keeper comes and punches clear. Still Anthony Hartigan. Cuts back. Still Anthony Hartigan! And it was just wide of the far post from the 17-year-old who is making a name for himself in this series. Not through goals, not even through assists, but just being very good in midfield. If we train him on his passing, because at the moment that does need to improve, he could genuinely be someone to really actually force his way into a starting 11 position. We've got a man down here that looks like Florence, so for now we are down to only 2 defenders, sorry. Garmston, that's now into Tom Eves. Well played by Fikeo Tamori to get that clear, and that ends the half. Oh, good challenge there from Toko in a dangerous position for Gillingham. Toko now through to Joe Pigott. The goalkeeper did really well, though, to come out and smother. Should have tried dinking that over the goalkeeper. So here comes that change then. The injured Florence comes off the pitch. Hopefully won't be out for too long. He is replaced by the youngster Toby Sibic. So we're now going to be playing this game without a recognised winger. Just highlighting the lack of depth we have in that position. I think it might be worth loaning in another winger into this team at some point. Here is Andre Dozzell. Lovely turn from him. Andre Dozzell saved by Nelson, though. Oh, this could be a chance here for Gillingham, but Long is equal to the shot. Was kind of central in fairness to him. Riley with it. Good first time effort there with his left foot, but I would have definitely expected George Long to save that one. It'll go out for a corner then with just 14 or 13 minutes even of the game to go. It's in towards Tom Eves. Zakuani is there though. He's ghosted in at the near post to convert. It's poor defending, quite frankly, and the Gillingham captain has got a goal back for his side. And I was just saying, we had a shot really straight at George Long. I don't know whether it was the fact this one was at close range, but that was kind of straight at him as well. He got two hands to it. Let's just take a look at the replay. Do we give him benefit of the doubt? Nah, I don't think so. I don't think so. Because it is straight at him. He should be saving that, I'm sorry. One thing I will say is that Gillingham are now going to start just chucking everybody forward. So hopefully that means we can try and break them down. But obviously, we know that's not necessarily the case. Not guaranteed to happen. Piggott gives it away. Thankfully, Dozel then wins it back. Here's Egli Kaiser. In a lot of space here is the Albanian. Still Egli Kaiser. Now over towards Joe Piggott. Still Joe Piggott. Lovely turn from him. Joe Piggott finds the back of the net. Game over. It was in some doubt there for a couple of minutes, but Joe Piggott restores our 2-goal lead with some brilliant composure in the area. 2 goals in 2 games now for him in this episode. Set up really well by the youngster Egli Kaiser, one of the Youth Academy graduates. Really nice to see some of the fringe players combining. I thought Piggott had maybe wasted a chance, but he turns back, does really well, and then just blasts it past the keeper into the top corner. That is game, set, and match. Here's O'Neill. That's now into Riley. Sibbick there has won it, but it almost fell to a Gillingham player. Piggott, that's a poor ball. Should have tried to play it over the top, really. That's what Gillingham are doing now. Great ball there into Parker. Wagstaff forces a good save though out of George Long at the near post with the feet. Gillingham coming forward again though here with O'Byrne. Here's Eves. This is Riley. Ball there into Wagstaff, who turns, now finds Riley again. And it is a late consolation goal, but that is all it will be as we're already firmly into the 3rd minute of injury time. I feel the ref will blow his whistle straight away. Good play though from Gillingham there to make that chance happen. Even on Park the Bus, we just didn't have enough players back there to deal with that. Game over. That was literally the last action of the game there, that 2nd goal for Gillingham. Frustrating to concede 2 goals in a game like that, but at least we get the 3 points once again, and a thoroughly entertaining match in terms of goals. Man of the match though was Andre Dozel with a 9.3 rating. He was very, very good, commanding in midfield. In fact, I'd say that partnership there of Dozel, Hartigan and Zuzi Toko, was probably the most convincing partnership I've had in the series so far, which is quite interesting. Ratings-wise as well, though, Fikeo Tamori with a 9.1, Joe Piggott with the same rating, Toko and Lyle Taylor with standout performances as well. Alright, so thankfully for us then, Will Nightingale, or Florence as we affectionately know him in terms of his nickname, is only out for 5 days with a bruised shoulder. That will, however, mean he does miss the next game against Southend, so we will have to put together a bit of a makeshift defence for that one. Also got a bit of news here that Lorenzo Visser, our scout future star who's got horrendous potential, has decided he wants to cancel his contract unless we call him up to the senior squad, so we're going to do that right now, hopefully. So here we have it then. Lorenzo Visser is going to be the first player to be promoted then into the Youth Academy. Are his stats wrong? Because when I then go on his page here, it says he's got 59 acceleration. I don't know what stats to believe in, but anyway, Lorenzo Visser basically. And here you can see his attributes were sort of in the middle of whatever we were being told there on the Youth Academy screen. 16 years of age, can play as a right winger, left mid and attacking mid, so pretty versatile. Decent enough speed, but it's not amazing really. Last thing though for this episode, as you can see, we are now on January 1st. We are into the transfer window. We're not going to do any dealings today because this video is surely ridiculously long already, but we'll be getting into that next episode. As I mentioned, leave your suggestions for players to bring in on a relatively cheap amount of money down in the comments section below, and I'll be looking at the most popular ones there. But next time we're back into some transfer activity. Really looking forward to that. And it's more confirmation. John Mead has left to go to Barnet, and Neshet Belikli has gone on loan to Crewe Alexandra. So that should mean when we now look at the monetary value, we have £430,000. Looking at the table now, you can now see that we have re-established our 3-point lead over the playoff places thanks to those 2 wins right at the end of the episode. It had been trimmed down. We'd actually dropped down to 3rd in the middle of this ridiculously long episode, but we are now back up to 2nd place, still though 9 points off league leaders Blackburn. Anyway, in the background you'll now be seeing the Hall of Fame where all the accolades are kept for this series. And yeah, loads of interesting sort of stats in the Hall of Fame at the moment, but if there's anything else you want to see added to it, then drop it down in the comment section below. I'll let you absorb all the facts react though. But in the top right of the screen now, you'll be seeing the vote for player of the episode as well. Whoever wins that will be playing in every single game of the next episode. It'll be in the top right of the screen. Just feel free to vote for whoever you thought was the best player in this video. There'll be plenty of people to choose from the sheer amount of games that we've had today, but choose wisely, because we'll have to play whoever wins in every single game in the next video. That though is going to wrap things up for today's video of Wimbledon Career Mode here, the road to glory on FIFA 18, and we're making massive progress now in this series. 25 games through the first season now, and in the promotion places, sorry. So potentially on the way towards the championship in just our first season, who even knows? But we of course will be in the transfer window next episode, so hyped for that, to bring in a couple more players here and there. We should have the funds to at least do something in that next video. Let me know if you're hyped down in the comment section below for some more transfer activity. But if you enjoyed this video, make sure to slap a like on it. Of course, subscribe if you're new to the channel. It's the big red button under the video, so make sure you go and do that if you enjoyed. You can also follow me on social media these days. My Twitter handle is @theofficialfng, links are down below, and my Instagram is exactly the same, @theofficialfng, over there as well. But it's been a pleasure ranting at you guys today. Have a great day, enjoy yourselves, and goodbye.
Yo, Massappels. I roll out with some monsters. Looks like your team and you watchers. I do not roll with imposters. Sound like the man in the Oscars. I'm drunk off Henny and Foster's. I have a career, I am jobless. This bitch f me so hard, I might just end up unconscious. I like girls in lingerie, especially if it is crotchless. Bitch, I am the bigger picture. There is no way you can crop us.